This is The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. There's one place that evokes fear, intimidation, and even disgust in many runners. And no, I'm not talking about the treadmill, even though that's a really good guess. It's your local running track. Maybe it's a resurfacing of childhood memories of being forced to run during gym class. If you weren't an athlete back then, the idea of running a mile on the track probably still invokes a trauma response. If you're lucky enough to have access to a local track today, it can be the very best thing to get better and faster at running. But if you don't know what you're doing on the oval, the rules, the markings, and even the whole point might be a little confusing. Let's get that sorted out today. Welcome to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic, and my mission is to help you improve your running, your mindset, and your life with science-backed training and plant-based nutrition. Today, we'll go over the common and perhaps misguided perceptions of track running, how you can use the track to improve your running, and the important rules of the track, so you won't look like a newbie out there, even if you've never run on a track before. I'll also go into why you might just learn to love it. Yes, it is possible. Don't forget to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode for another Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. To be clear, you don't need to run on a track to get better at running. So if you simply don't have access to a track where you live, you absolutely can improve at running without it. But if you are fortunate enough to be able to use one regularly, consider yourself lucky. The track is perfectly measured, free of obstacles or elevation changes. It's been engineered to be the best surface to run on anywhere. This is why it's great for any runner. It takes out as many variables as possible, which makes running faster easier. But of course, making running as easy as possible has a downside. The easy route is usually the boring route. If you look at the track as a torture device of ultimate boredom, then no, you probably aren't going to get a whole lot out of it. On the other hand, if you are looking for any edge possible in your training and you're hoping to make faster running just a little easier, the track can be an amazing tool. If you'd like to try working out on the track, the first step is finding out if you actually have access to one nearby. Most towns have a high school or a college track that is open to the public at certain times, so check around and see if that's an option for you. Even better, if you are lucky enough to have a decent-sized running community in your area, there might even be organized track sessions each week. This is how I got started with track workouts. When I fell in love with running in my late 30s, I first joined a trail running group to learn my local trail system. When those runners told me about the Tuesday night track workouts, my first reaction was, no way. Running around in circles with strangers sounded horrible. But eventually, with enough positive peer pressure, I worked up the courage to join them, and I have to tell you, it was one of the best decisions for my running that I've ever made. The Tuesday track workouts helped my speed, my focus, and helped me find my tribe. Running hard is always hard, but running hard with other people makes it just a little bit easier. When you are ready to hit the track, there are some universal etiquette rules that you should know before starting your first session. Just like the rules of the road, the rules of the track help everyone share the space without crashing into each other. Now, if you're lucky enough to have the track entirely to yourself for your whole workout, feel free to do whatever you want. But as soon as another person shows up, you'll need to follow some standards. Knowing what you're doing keeps us all on the same page and can actually make the experience a lot less intimidating. I'll go over exactly what you need to know right after this. Some of the smartest, fittest people I know are struggling with the same thing. They are, by every definition, successful, but on the inside, they are repeating the same patterns, keeping them overthinking, overfunctioning, and overreacting. Thankfully, the same concepts we use to train our bodies work on the mind. Begin with 10 is a 30-day guided mental conditioning cycle designed to strengthen the way you think, regulate emotion, direct attention, and move through uncertainty with more steadiness. Begin each day with just 10 minutes of active brain work designed to change your mind in the best way possible. Because the brain responds the same way the body does. What you practice becomes easier to access. What you repeat becomes more automatic. In just 10 minutes a day, you'll use structured repetition, breath control, and deliberate focus to strengthen calm, certainty, emotional steadiness, and the ability to direct your mind instead of being dragged by it. These are active audio workouts rooted in neuroscience and influenced by techniques used by elite athletes, because mental strength is built the same way physical strength is built, through consistent reps. The next course of Begin with 10 starts June 1st, 2026, so there's not much time to sign up if you are listening to this when it comes out. If you're listening after June 1st, 2026, you will be able to sign up for a wait list, but it will likely be a while before this opportunity comes back. Go to theplantedrunner.com/beginwith10 to claim your spot. That's theplantedrunner.com/beginwith10 with the number 10 spelled out TEN.
The Planted Runner is sponsored by Liquid IV. Did you know that I was a Class 5 whitewater rafting guide in my 20s? For 3 summers, I guided guests down some of the wildest rivers in the West while the sun beat down on us and the icy water kept us cool. Hydration at the time was a rinsed out orange juice jug roped to the raft. Thankfully, today we have superior hydration. Liquid IV delivers longer lasting hydration than water alone. And right now you can get 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at checkout. I love the mandarin orange flavor and rely on it after every workout. Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. Soak up unforgettable moments with on-the-go hydration from Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at liquidiv.com.
Welcome back to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. Now that you've worked up the courage to try the running track, it's time to learn a few universal rules. Before you even begin running on the track, take a look around and see what others are doing. If the school's team is working out, they have top priority and might not even want the public sharing the space at that time. So be sure to double check that you've picked an okay time to show up. This should sound obvious, but you should look both ways when crossing the track, but especially look to your left where the runners should be coming from. You don't want to stand around and make people run around you. So if you brought a friend with you, don't stand on the track and chat. If you do get distracted or caught up in a conversation, a common warning call is simply track, and that's shorthand for get out of the way because someone's coming and you need to move. And it's a lot nicer than just screaming move at someone. Which brings me to what should be another obvious point, but I have to mention it anyway. Be sure that you can hear people around you. Headphones are going to be an issue, so leave them at home or turn them way down. Now let's get to actually running on the track. And of course, you'll start with a good warm-up. You do a warm-up, right? Of course you do. And if you don't, check back through my latest episodes because I've got one just for you. As you start to warm up with some jogging or a few drills, be sure that you do that in the outer lanes, which should be less crowded. Runners on the inside lanes have the right of way, and I'll get more into that in just a bit. The most important rule to know is always run counterclockwise. In other words, all your turns should be left turns. The only exception to this is when the track isn't crowded and you're doing a cool down or a warm up. You can head to the outer lanes and run in retro, which means clockwise. This is only done as a way to balance out all those left turns. And again, it's only done when no one else is in your way. Really pay attention when you run in retro because this is like driving your car on the wrong side of the road and you're the one at fault for any crashes. The next rule is when you are running hard, run in lane 1 and own it, no matter what your pace. Lane 1 is the innermost left lane, and it doesn't matter if you are slow or fast compared to other people. You are entitled to lane 1 if you are running fast for you, period. Faster runners can go around you if they need to, but everyone deserves lane 1 when they are running hard. Now, this rule can be controversial. I've posted about this before on Instagram and gotten some really nasty comments from people who say that slower runners need to move out of the way of faster runners. But let me tell you, that is completely wrong on a community track. If you are running slow on purpose because you're getting some recovery in between intervals or you're doing a warm-up or a cool down, yes, absolutely move out of lane 1. But your interval work should be done in lane 1 no matter what your pace. This is the easiest place to measure your distance, which is half the reason you're at the track in the first place. It's also easier for a faster runner to go around you because they are coming up from behind you instead of you trying to anticipate moving for a faster runner that you can't see. Now, if you need to pass a slower runner, always pass on their right. So that means you'll veer into lane 2 to pass someone in lane 1. When it's time to get back into lane 1, don't be that runner that just jumps abruptly back in. Make sure you're clear and you're a few steps ahead of the runner you just passed so you don't freak him out. If you're headed to the track with a friend or you're in a group, never run side by side unless you're actively passing someone. You should always run in single file in the faster lanes. This makes it easier for faster runners to pass your group, and not to mention, it makes the distance equal for everyone. When you're finishing up with your fast interval, be sure you have a sense of who is around you and behind you. You don't want to suddenly come to a stop and get rear-ended. Take a quick glance over your shoulder and get out of lane 1 as soon as you can. When it's time for your cool down, head to the outside lanes and leave those inside lanes for those who are running hard. Now, that might seem like a long list of rules for running in circles, but it's really not that complicated. Run in single file, counterclockwise, fast in lane 1, slow in the outside lanes, and pay attention to your surroundings. But how do we make it less boring? I promised you at the beginning that you might actually like track workouts, and I know that not everyone is convinced. The social aspects of running in a group are amazing, but that can also be found outside of a track. The reason track can be fun is precisely because it's so precise. It's easy to make up little games and little goals that you can hit that give you a boost of dopamine with each achievement. Perhaps your workout is 10 by 400 meters, which is 1 lap around the track 10 times. Your goal is probably not to run each of those laps until you fall down and cry. Your goal is usually to get them as even as possible. That means you'll need to hold back for the first half of the run and turn it up for the second half. When there's nothing else to think about other than running around the same oval, you can pay attention to your breathing. You can feel how high your heel comes up behind you. You can actively stretch your big toe with each and every push-off. What are your arms doing when you run hard? Is all the momentum going forward, or are your arms crossing over your midline? There's so many little things that your body is doing with every step, every run, and there's no better place to really focus on your form than on a track. Take a look at your watch at the halfway point of each interval. Are you halfway to your goal time? Should you speed up or should you slow down to nail your target? Oh, and speaking of your watch, your GPS watch will be fairly useless on a track. The oval is just simply too tight for the satellites to understand exactly what you're doing. Even which wrist you are wearing your watch on will make a difference in the data. So it's far better to learn your goal times in minutes and seconds rather than pace per mile or kilometer. For example, if you're trying to run 8 minutes per mile for 400 meters, that breaks down to just under 2 minutes per lap. So at the 200 meter mark, you should be rolling by in about 60 seconds to stay on target. The trick is to try to do all your math before you start running. When you're running hard, you need all your brain power to go to your legs, not for solving math problems. I hope I've encouraged you to try out your local track for your next speed workout. Not only can it make workouts faster and more effective, but you just might find some like-minded runner souls out there that are running around in circles with you. And now it's time for the Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Today's topic is your goals are like a bar of soap. If you have a big running goal that you're working towards, it can be incredibly motivating. Every day, every workout can bring you closer to your dream. But if you focus on it too hard, it's like squeezing a wet bar of soap. The harder you grip your goal, the easier it slips away. So have a big goal, but hold it loosely. Work hard for it in your consistency, but not so hard that you push it away.
Thank you for listening to The Planted Runner, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Don't forget that you can enter to win a free custom training plan for your next race and get featured on the show. Just write an Apple Podcast review and enter at theplantedrunner.com/PRLab. Of course, reviews are the #1 way to boost this show's reach, and it's a great way to tell me what you'd like to hear next because I read every single one. Have a great run today.